Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a No Man's Sky video. And in today's video, as promised, I am going to be breaking down this absolutely tiny as trailer for the Beyond update. For this video, I want to try and look at what little we have and to see if we have any sort of hints towards what the Beyond update may include. There is literally one shot to analyze, so don't expect some groundbreaking revelations. However, I do feel like there is a lot more than people may expect. So with all of that said and done, please do sit back and relax. Let's get started. Okay, so first up, before we actually get into, breaking down what we can see, I want to make it very clear that this teaser trailer, which we have, is likely showcasing an aspect of No Man's Sky Online. This is due to No Man's Sky Online being the only feature that is confirmed in the Beyond update as of yet. So a teaser showcasing something that we aren't in the loop of would be sort of pointless. Because of this, I think it's safe to assume that this little trailer we have is definitely relating to the multiplayer overhaul coming with Beyond. I think it'd be a bit of a waste and kind of foolish to showcase something which we have absolutely no hint of. So yes, I would assume that this is multiplayer related. Okay, so jumping into things now, first of all we have a ship which we are shown in the first little intro. Now this ship seems to house a load more detail and color variation. It seems as if it's either a custom ship or an entirely new model, because I cannot recognize this ship for the life of me. It almost resembles the classic E3 one, but with a much bigger shape, different colors, and generally just a nice sharper look to it. The size of the ship compared to the player is also seeming quite different. This could just be an angle, but the ship looks a lot larger than the ships that we currently have with this same kind of scale. The scale which we are shown seems to be a load different to what we currently have. I know a lot of people complain that the scale was just a bit off in No Man's Sky. When you compare first person and third person, you feel absolutely, massive in your ship, but you're really tiny when you go in third person. So perhaps Beyond will make adjustments to this ship scale. But aside from this scale, which is kind of boring and no one cares about that, there is the possible hint of ship customization or yet another overhaul of spacecraft like Next brought us. Next brought us all of those really shiny paint jobs to ships which improved how they look, it added detail and all of that stuff. So it is quite likely that we might see something similar, or this is just a ship I have simply never seen. I'm not too sure. Moving on now to the location where we actually are. The ship seems to be on some kind of platform due to the railings and the cube structures in the corners. However, what is interesting is that the ship does not appear to be parked. It is not in the standard position for where you land a ship because it is kind of bent at an angle. So this could mean that we have free landing in wherever this location is, or this is not a landing platform and is just a piece of this new landscape. Either way, it's interesting to see a structure which seems so familiar but behaves so differently, so perhaps this is one of the surprises that comes with Beyond. Now the area itself where this teaser trailer takes place is also a major point of interest due to the colors, structure and layout. So first of all, the size of this location appears to be much larger than a space station or an Atlas station in terms of length and depth. The wideness of this location and the length of this location suggests it will house a lot of different people and will not just be for you and NPCs. The structures of the walls also looks to be very similar to the structures we see in space stations, with the supports that almost look like arches. However, the orange colors which are littered throughout this location seem to be reminiscent of the orange towers used in the Atlas Rises story. I forget the actual name for them, but it's where you progress the story and meet that little hologram NPC. The color scheme is extremely cyberpunk and sci-fi looking, which makes a nice change to the samey, dark, boring feel of space stations and Atlas stations. Now, the pathway leading down the middle also appears to show similarities to ancient ruins in the form of of bridges. The shape and the intricate designs gives me really ruiny kind of vibes, you know, the ruins that we find on random planets. So who knows if this might tie into a bit of the story, or is just a design that takes inspiration from ruined bridges. Now on this bridge there also appears to be 2 knowledge stones on the first lit up part of this bridge. So this could imply that whatever this location is will give similar rewards to Atlas stations, where there are a load of knowledge stones that you go around and collect new words. Perhaps this place is not a multiplayer focused location and instead plays a bit more of a role in the story and the general gameplay of No Man's Sky. One thing which I also want to bring up is the blue colour that is littered around this location. So this kind of hazy blue lazy sort of colour reminds me a load of anomalous planets, with the flora that appears to be sucking up the ground with its kind of bluey green light. The way it projects and the way it sort of lingers around in this location really does give me vibes of that, and again this is another link to strange entities on regular planets. So onto the big stuff now. The orange lights seen on certain shapes are very hard to distinguish, but the one to the right of the big light circle almost reminds me of a space station advertisement sign. It could well be writing, who knows, because it looks like it's split up into 3 different rectangles, but again that extremely cyberpunk feeling is emphasized here. It's extremely difficult to make out what all of these orange lights are. They could be designs, they could be writing, I'm not really entirely sure, but if this location is assumed to be close to an Atlas station and a space station, then it is more than likely it may well be advertisements for traders or general NPC locations. So in this location there are a load of dark structures which we cannot make out on the sides of this location. For example, on the left there is this big meaty square which almost looks like a knowledge stone but a lot thicker, you know, with 2 C's. However, there are 2 major square looking entities which are on the left and which are on the right, and these look very similar to this landing pad at the beginning. So perhaps there are going to be multiple landing pads across this location as a means of people gathering together or sharing ships, etc. Once again, it is so goddamn hard to make out, but it feels like I can see railings and those strange little cubic structures which are sat in the corner of the pad. And finally, the big light at the end of this bridge can surely only mean one thing, and that is a portal. It's the same shape, it emits the same sort of bluey white colour, and the camera flies into it like how it used to do with the Portal trailers back before No Man's Sky released. It is fairly safe to assume that this will be a method of teleporting or of quick travel, but how this ties into the story or multiplayer, that is truly anyone's guess. I have seen a load of people on Twitter saying that this looks to be a massive portal. Instead of a portal where you just walk up the steps, this is basically a huge room which is dedicated to a single portal entrance. Maybe this is a gateway into some kind of multiplayer game mode. Maybe this is a new gateway into playing with your friends. Perhaps this is where you party up, and then as you go through this big white circle, you are transported to the same location. We do not know, but again, I am getting extremely strong Portal vibes from this, and a load of people in the community and on Twitter are thinking the same thing. So in conclusion, to sum up all of these, you know, really ambiguous breakdowns which we can barely make out, and all of these shapes which we just have to kind of guess about, my most valid conclusion is that this location is a hybrid between a space station and a portal. Now, the biggest thing which I can take from this location is that it is some kind of multiplayer hub. Again, the only part of Beyond which has been confirmed as of yet is No Man's Sky Online, so the trailer is naturally going to tie into that. With No Man's Sky adopting a lot of MMO style features, I think it's safe to assume that we need a place to converge, a place where we can meet up with random travelers and play with people who aren't necessarily joining our games or we just randomly come across. This is what this location could be a multiplayer hub of sorts, a place where you can find other players, where you can join guilds, where you can add people up. It is basically like the Protector's Enclave in Neverwinter. You know, the main place where you get missions, quests, sort out your gear, all of that stuff. That is my most valid guess so far, and I think that is the one that ties in the most with what little information we have been given. But guys, that is just my opinion, so please do feel free to put your thoughts in the comment section of this video. I would love to hear what you guys think about this, and if I missed anything out in this trailer, then again, please do put it in the comments, as I am not perfect and I can't cover every single detail. But guys, that is just about all I have to say for this video, so I do want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a like on it, and if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.